they don't often, you'd be teased. Yeah.
Do you have some special food that you can sell to the children?
The first time we made bread was after the buffalo were gone. They were wiped out, so we didn't have much food to eat. But the federal government and the cavalry would give supplies to the people so we wouldn't really die off. But they gave us flour and salt. The meat they gave us was often spoiled, but the flour and the salt and sugar, the Indian people made bread from this. Today we call it fry bread. And it's survival food, because that's all we had to survive from. But today, it's not very good for you. It's bad for you, because when you change from a traditional diet, one of meat and berries, to that of sugar and flour, then that's really increased the health problems, diabetes and heart disease for our people. So many of our people are large and overweight because of the change in diet. So we have bread, but it's not a very good bread. But today, we still like to eat it. And many people consider it a traditional food, but it's not really a traditional food. The pemmican that I mentioned earlier with the dried meat mixed with berries would be the main traditional food. And stews made of lots of tubers that come from the ground that we gathered, wild plants. One was a wild turnip. So we used to have a great knowledge on traditional plants. Oftentimes some plants, just a little flower would produce a large tuber underneath the ground that could feed you for weeks. But so learning these traditional foods and plants is also a great interest of mine. So in my studies, I'm trying to work with our old people and our young people to learn about these plants again, and to use our language to relearn them. So connecting the old people and the young people with our traditional ecological knowledge is mostly part of the work that I do. So we have schools that teach just this type of stuff. It's very important.
Do you celebrate any native holidays, traditional holidays?
We have in the Sundance is probably the most important holiday that we have, because it's a time of sacrifice. People come together. There's lots of food, lots of eating, laughing, singing, dancing. So that happens in the time of June, but it can change the date from year to year. It just happens on when the elders say it's going to happen. That's when it happens. So the Sundance is a very important time for us. I would consider that a holiday, not a national holiday. Many tribes take the day of Columbus, when the Columbus arrived, and change it to Native American Day, because we don't want to celebrate Columbus.
Just I have a question.
Yeah.
What is your main principle in life? I mean that what every child should have from his child.
I think language is very important. Language, because if you don't have your language, then you lose your view of the world. The English language is restrictive in that in our own language we have many different ways of describing something, but in English it's just one simple word. So it's exclusive. So when you have your language, or you see the world differently through your language. But also, I think education is becoming more important. That to have a good education means you can go places, you can meet new people, you can travel the world. Some tribes do. The Apache in the southern part of the United States, they sell these licenses to hunt great big bull elk, and they can sell licenses for $10,000 to one guy. For us, we made the choice. Our leadership made the decision to only let tribal members hunt. So because the hunting and fishing is so important to our lifestyle, that we want to keep that for ourselves. That makes it difficult, like when you marry outside of your tribe, because we have a blood quantum system. We're the only pedigreed people besides horses and dogs. You have to have full blood status, and if you marry outside of say you marry a non-native, then your children are half, and their children are half, and then there's you don't have the blood to be a tribal member anymore. So that's another reason that people marry within the tribe, to keep the lineage. Yeah. Architecture? Literature. Yes, some. Not very much though. There's more literature on Native Americans in general, not necessarily specific to the Shoshone. I know of maybe 4 books that are specific for Shoshone, but there's many that are about other tribes. The Lakota and the Dakotas, they have many books. The Navajo have many books. Because there's about 100,000 Lakota, and they've been able to maintain their culture and language, and they're reviving it faster than anybody else. The Navajo are very fluent in their language also. And so they have more, and there's more people. There's only 3,000 Shoshones, but there's 100,000 Navajo. So the amount of people makes a difference, I suppose, in the amount of literature that's available. Newspaper. Yeah, called Wind River News. And there's also a national paper called Indian Country. And so those newspapers are specific for issues concerning tribes nationwide. So we have, yeah. In the nation? In the country, over 300. And the initial image shows quite a few of them. See, I can back it up. Maybe. Yeah, over 300, and there were 300 different languages also. And so it was very diverse, and it wasn't uncommon for people to speak over 5 or 6 languages. Chief Washakie himself spoke 4 languages. So there were many, and you can see in this image how they're divided geographically. So the Plains Indians who lived in teepees were very different from the other tribes who may have lived in a hold-on or a wooden house. Because we were nomadic and we hunted buffalo, we needed to move around, and that's why we used the teepee, because you could transport it fairly easy. Before the horse, we used dogs, big dogs that were part wolf. They would put sticks on their back or bags on them, and they would carry the stuff. So it made it more difficult to travel when we had the dog. But when we had the horse in 1600, then our teepees got bigger, and we acquired more things, and we were able to move a lot easier. So the difference between the tribes and the regions was very different. But we have archaeological evidence where we had these things called medicine wheels on the landscape where We don't know who put them there, but they're very old, and they're big circles of rocks on the ground. They may have been used for ceremonies or Sundance, but many of these medicine wheels have stones in them from the four areas of the continent. So there was a vast trade system going on from very, very long time ago. And of course, the land bridge theory from Alaska to Russia is where many people came from. That's why I think we have so many similarities between the people of the Altai and the Native Americans. It was a word that we acquired from other tribes. They called us snakes because of a particular fish that we ate and still eat. It's called a ling burbot. The scientific name is loda loda. But this fish can grow very big, but it has a fin that goes all the way around on its back and up on its tail. And so the ling burbot looks like a snake. And so the other Indians called it snake. And I'm not sure which language, but Shoshone means snake. Yeah.
As far as I know, some Indians they have two names. The first is that was given by his parents, and the second is after his achievement.
Yeah.
Maybe he killed a bear and he is a man.
Yeah.
Do you have the second?
My family name would have been Weed.
And what is
I asked my grandfather how he got this name, and he didn't know. It was maybe he grew fast. I don't know. The original, my great grandfather, his name was Rabbit Tail. Rabbit Tail. So somehow it went from Rabbit Tail to Weed, but I don't know. And it was common for the translator from the federal government who was making the treaties and documenting all of the people of the community. It was common for them to change the name. Like some people might have white hair, so their name is White Hair. Well, the translator would change it to Harris, so it sounded more English. But some tribes in Montana, they were able to keep those family lineal names. Mine would have been Rabbit Tail, but I went from Rabbit Tail to Weed, which was my mother's name. But I have my father's name. Valdez comes from Mexico. Yeah, we use the rose for the Shoshones on a lot of our beadwork in our regalia is the rose or is symbolic of Shoshone. Some tribes have more geometric shapes that are representative of animals. The neighbor tribe, Arapaho, they use more of this geometric type symbolism. It's specific to the Plains tribes. Also, the Lakota people also have geometrics, and they wear these designs. Some are family designs, like you explained in the museum about the horse brand. That horse brand is like us. That emblem would be specific to our family or to our clan.
What rose is there you mentioned about
The rose.
Yes.
I don't know. It was always just there. It was just always the rose. The rose or floral designs. Perhaps it's from the south. because tribes in the south that are related to Shoshones has this also. You guys have been a great audience. Thank you very much for coming today. And if there's other questions that you would like to ask, I can stick around and ask them individually or in a group if you want. So if there's no more questions from the great family, we'll depart. We have something for you though that we would like to share. Give thanks for being here and sharing together our cultures. It's been a great trip in Russia, a very good time in Gorno-Алтайский. I hope to come back again someday and see you. You guys are welcome to visit in the United States or in Wyoming or Montana. And thank you very much.
First, I would like to have our museum guides please come. Please come to me. Anybody want to help, please? Because you are the